Hi guys, it's Chantel and welcome to another reading vlog. Now I'm really excited about this reading vlog because I can finally dive into my July TBR, which, I mean, if you watched my TBR video, you'll know it's a little bit overwhelming, but I'm excited to finally be able to start reading and hopefully get through all those pages. Plus I kind of made a second TBR for the month. I don't know what I was thinking. I might be regretting that. But let's just talk about what I have been reading, what I finished, what I'm in the middle of reading. Let's get started here. So I started reading The Hero of Ages at the end of June, and then I got a head cold and I couldn't read it and all sorts of things. And this is not technically on my TBR for July, so I think I'm going to be putting this off for a bit. I read the first two books in the Mistborn trilogy in June, and really was hoping to finish this by the end of the month, but it didn't happen. And yeah, I should have put this on my TBR card. That would have been the smart thing to do, but I didn't do that. So this has to kind of get bumped this month to make room for other things. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I can't really even explain why. I don't know why, but I'm kind of just not in the mood to finish this right now. So I think it's a good thing to put it off for now and then pick it up again when I'm looking forward to it, instead of trying to push through and read it when I'm not really that interested in it, because I really enjoyed book one. So there's that. Then I did finish, I talked about this book. It's called Invitation. I talked about it a little bit in my previous reading vlog. When I went to put this into Goodreads, it actually, I think there must have been a title change because it is in Goodreads as The Call. But anyway, this is 4 short stories by 4 authors that follow the same 4 characters, but each story follows one of those characters. And it is a supernatural suspense book, and I actually quite enjoyed it. So like Bill Myers and Frank Peretti are the only 2 authors I'd read previous stuff from, and honestly it was like the last 2 stories I enjoyed more. So I don't know if it was their writing, if it was the characters specifically that they were writing about that I enjoyed, or what it was, but I want to read more books by Angela Hunt and Alton Gansky, and Sodbuster Living did give me some suggestions on books by them. So I am going to hopefully make use of my library in the next few weeks, and maybe I can request a book or 2 from them once they open up our like full loan and hold system. Then for the beginning of July here, I started listening to Unbroken on audio. Everyone was telling me that the audio, well, first of all, that this book is amazing, and I heard that the audio is really good. So even though I have the physical copy, I did manage to get the audiobook from the library, and I have it now for the next 3 weeks. So I'm gonna listen to as much of it as I can while I'm cleaning the house and stuff. So far, so this is a World War II story of survival. So far we're following this guy, Louis Zamperini, and his childhood was crazy. But so far the beginning of this book reminds me a lot of Angela's Ashes and the beginning of Frank McCourt's story. And I was not a huge fan of Angela's Ashes at the beginning of May. I actually DNF'd it like right near the end. But I've heard really good things about this, so curious to see where this goes. And then I read a book in 2 days, so that was a really good start for my TBR. And that was Morality for Beautiful Girls. This is book 3 in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. I love this series. I mean, well, I've read only a few books in it so far, but the author, just the way he writes is, it's like like an African person is narrating the story to you. And I've been to Uganda and I've been to South Africa, and I just love Africa in general. And originally I thought this author was British because he lives in England now, but it turns out he was born in Zimbabwe and taught at Botswana, and this book takes place in Botswana and often talks about like South Africa as well. Yeah, so it's a mystery book, but it's also like following our main character's life. And yeah, and also her name is Precious, which is such an African name. And it says here, the Miss Marple of Botswana. So if you know me, you know I like Miss Marple, and I love Africa, so this is like the perfect combination for me. And this book in particular was really good. Yeah, I don't know, I enjoyed the mystery stuff, I enjoyed the personal stuff, I enjoyed the African tidbits, and I really want to continue going through this series. Okay, now the last book that I have to talk about. I've actually done quite a bit of reading lately, and what I decided for July, because my TBR is so big and there are some books that I'm not necessarily looking forward to, I'm going to read the books I'm most excited about at the beginning of the month. I'm going for the dessert first and saving the main course for later. Because in May, I tried to do the opposite. I tried to get the books I wasn't looking forward to out of the way. And it kind of just put me in a reading slump for the entire month. And then I didn't even get to the books that I was excited about. So I'm going to probably read all of the mystery books that were on my TBR first. And then get to things like Middlemarch. But yeah, anyway, the next one is A Pocket Full of Rye. Now this is a Miss Marple book, Agatha Christie. I just started it this morning. I'm 10 pages in, but so far someone's already gotten poisoned, and I told my husband I think poisoning is my favorite death, like mystery, you know, object of murder, which kind of freaked him out a little bit. But for me, it's because, you know, you never know when someone was poisoned. Like, that adds in a whole new element. Like, was it the last thing they ate? Was it 24 hours ago? Like, things that delay, that fascinates me. So I'm curious to see where this book goes from here. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading in the last few days, and I've got a lot of reading to do in July, so hopefully this can continue. And I will update again in a few days. So my new reading method for this month to read the books on my TBR that I'm most excited about has really been working for me. I finished A Pocket Full of Rye and loved it. Once again, Agatha Christie, she just, I don't know, I just can't figure out who done it. I'm always like, okay, like it's this person. And then I'm like, no, it's this person. And I'm never like 100% sure. So yeah, that's why I love her book so much, or one of the reasons. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this one. This one's a Miss Marple book, and Miss Marple is my favorite of her detectives, but I actually haven't read a ton of Miss Marple books, but this one did not disappoint. I love how unassuming Miss Marple is, how she's just like the little old lady knitting in the corner, but she gets people to tell her all sorts of things and learns lots of information that way. It's like dreams and aspirations to be a Miss Marple when I'm older. And then after that, I picked up A Force of Nature by Jane Harper. Now this is the second book that follows her detective, Erin something or other. I read book one, I think in May, and I think I gave it 3 stars. Like, I enjoyed the mystery. There was a few things in there that I didn't like. This one, like, it gripped me right away. First of all, what is this part of the book called? When it has a little blurb here that it's not like a publisher blurb like up here, but it's, I don't know, it's like a hook. I was trying to Google it and try to figure out what this is actually called, and I couldn't. But it says 5 women go on a hike and only 4 return. Now to me, like, that is like an interesting thing that gets me into the book right away. And the way she starts her book with the prologue, like, it's just, I don't know, it gripped me right away. And I'm now like 190 pages in, which is almost halfway. And I will probably finish this book in the next day or 2. Yeah, so that all being said, I really like the mystery and everything, but it frustrates me that there has been maybe 10 occurrences in the 190 pages where characters have used the Lord's name in vain. That, to me, makes it from like a book that I would really recommend to a book that I would not be interested in recommending. And that is annoying because so far the mystery in this has just been fabulous. Okay, wow, I have had a great start to my July reading month. I mean, I have almost breezed through my TBR, and we're on what, like day 9? Yeah, so let's see here. So in my last update, I was reading Force of Nature, and like, minus the taking the Lord's name in vain for like the first 200 pages, this easily could have been a 4 or 5 star book. But then things went downhill. The ending felt so, I don't know, it was just like so much of a letdown. It was like, really? It just kind of felt like you hadn't planned that when you were writing the book. There were multiple loose ends that never got tied up. There were people that they made seem suspicious, which is fair, like every book does that. You want to throw people off a little bit. But then we never like learned why they were a little bit suspicious. There was, yeah, like, man, this book went from like being really quite good to, I was like fuming over it for a few days because it didn't make any sense. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. I have no idea what I'm actually going to rate this because I would rate the first half of the book something completely different than the last half of the book. Yeah, it had a lot going for it, but it fell very, very short. So in the first few days of the month, first 9 days, I have completely finished 3 books already. And I am still listening to Unbroken. According to the audiobook, I am exactly 1/3 through, so I'm 33% through. It's very interesting so far. One thing so far that has really jumped out at me is like how many casualties there were in the war that were just like training casualties. Like I had no idea prior to this book, like how many people died just, you know, learning to fly planes or flying planes that really shouldn't have been flown. So yeah, this book is written incredibly well. There's lots going on and I'm curious to see where it goes. I mean, I kind of know the ending a bit, but yeah, so far it definitely has my attention. So we're pretty much exactly 1/3 into the month and I'm 1/3 into the book. So I'll see if I continue at this rate or if I finish it before the reading rush week. I'm not sure yet. Then next up I picked up Sweep, which I have heard so many good things about, and I am now probably like 2/3 of the way through it and I'm enjoying it so much. This is a story about a chimney sweep. It is a fantastical story about a chimney sweep. The beginning of the book actually reminds me a lot of Mistborn. So this girl, she lives with a bunch of chimney sweeps and they live in an attic. And yeah, like so much of just her like tough upbringing here reminds me of Vin from Mistborn. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the book. This is a library book and I have doggy-eared some pages that I've been enjoying. I know that's probably very taboo, but they're just like passages I want to go back and reread. And this is on my list of books to hopefully buy in the future. I think my daughter would really like this. And we'll see how the last bit goes. That will be in the next reading vlog, as well as my thoughts on this book. And then after I'm done these books, the only one I have left from my gigantic TBR for the month is a doozy. And that's Middlemarch, which is huge. So that will be in the next reading vlog. But I feel like I did pretty good here. That's a decent start to the month. I mean, I'm not done these last 2, but I'm probably going to finish this one in the next day or 2. This one will be soon. And yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I still have the reading rush week coming up where I will do a separate vlog on that. So I think I'm going to be reading a ton of books in July. So if you have any suggestions on what I should read next, I would love to hear it. Any books that you're currently reading that you love. Like always, let's chat books in the comments.